How can something that adds zero nutrients to your soil be more effective and more beneficial than fertilizer itself? Well, it's true. It might sound as though it's not, but it is true. And I'm going to show you exactly what it is and how it works. I've told you before, if it's a garden secret, before it got to me, once it gets to me, it's no longer a garden secret. So I'm going to share that with you this morning. My name is Marie. This is our container garden where we grow almost all the produce we eat. And I share from time to time, well, I share every day how I grow food and encourage others to do the same. All right, so let's go get this mystery ingredient that we all need to add to our soil in order to have for forever treat your soil to have the things growing as well as mine are. So let's go gather our stuff. So at this section of the property across the street, we whenever we cut the we have a lot of shrubs and trees and so on growing in the rocks. So whenever we cut the trees, we'll burn them here. And usually I collect the ash. Let me collect some coal first. I'm collecting charcoal. Charcoal, guys, and charcoal is what we'll be talking about today and the magic that it has on your soil. So I'll usually collect the ash from those burnt woods. I'm collecting the charcoal to show you exactly how you utilize it the same way. So I have a lot of these over here. This is burnt out wood. I believe this tool is called a mallet. I'll link it. I'll link it on the video in case you're interested in purchasing one for yourself. So when growing up in the country, we always see our parents burning, cutting the land and then burning the bush before planting. And I never knew why. I just knew that if you plant in there, it does exceptionally well. And I never knew why. And so when I started my garden, I added charcoal, the little fine bits to the soil, just emulating what they were doing, not asking or knowing exactly why. But guess what, guys? I found out why. I'm going to share that with you. And let me prepare it so I'm not only telling you, I am showing you exactly what to do. First, we're going to make the charcoal as fine as possible, as powdery as we can. You see, old people knows best. And sometimes they do things and as kids you just follow suit. As they said, children live what they learn. But it come to be that the guy, this is invaluable in your soil. I'm going to share exactly how with you. This literally fixes your soil. And you guys keep asking, Marie, what do you do to keep your vegetable always looking that good? If the pests don't attack my veggies, they look extremely well and produce so well. And I thought it was the fertilizer. Well, in essence it is, but this is what causes the long-term health in the soil. All right, so we have our charcoal, not powdery but very, very fine. Here it is. Now the charcoal can be added to the soil just like is, what you'd normally do is right over here. This is where we place the first charcoal where we harvested the turmeric, that huge turmeric harvest. And I did not fertilize, as I said to you in the video when I was harvesting. And I really did not know that the credit was due to the charcoal. So in here, you can add the charcoal as is. Just like it's better to show you rather than to just tell you, right? So you just pick up some, as I said, this can be more powdery. You incorporate it into your soil and just simply mix it in. What the charcoal does is it helps with better drainage of your soil, aerate your soil, and it absorbs water also, so it prevents waterlog in the soil and also root rot. It prevents your plants from getting waterlogged and for your roots to get rotted essentially. And so this is how I used it before, but there's a better way, and I'm going to show you right now. This is where I have my liquid fertilizer, and everything in the garden is fertilized with my liquid fertilizer. I utilize my scraps from my kitchen, leaves, banana skin. Let me just show you how we make the liquid fertilizer and then how they both work together as a marriage to make you literally can fix yourself for the entire life of that plant that you're planting in there. Just yesterday, one of my subscribers asked, how often do I fertilize my cabbages? There is one right behind you here. I'm not sure if she believes when I told her that these all of them were fertilized once. After planting them, I fertilized them once, and that lasted until I harvested. And guys, if you've been following my journey, you know my cabbage harvest. They have been amazing. I've fertilized once since planting them. But let me quickly show you how I make the compost tea and then how we incorporate both to fix your soil almost indefinitely. This is the answer to your soil woes. If you're having soil issues, some of you ask, oh, I get my soil to be that dark. I didn't even think about it. This could be one of the reasons. And so let's get into that quickly so you can get outside and get into your garden and get cracking on this. This is my rabbit waste under here. I'm just collecting a little of it to add to my liquid fertilizer. So as you saw, my rabbit manure is in there, and this is my kitchen scrapbook box. This is what it looks like there. Eggshells, yam peels, banana, pineapple, all the good stuff from the kitchen. Just dump it into the bucket. Now we're going to dump, or this is the bucket. If you don't have this much, a little less will do. Now I'm going to dump the charcoal in there. As I said, the charcoal is not fertilizer, but it will not break down, so it will create air pocket. It will break down for years to come. It will remain like this, so it will create air pockets in the soil, and thus it will provide space for more oxygen to the roots of your plants. There won't be physical air pockets in the soil, but the charcoal itself, it has the air, it is filled with air essentially, because it was burnt, all the liquid was removed and was replaced with air. Now we're going to just add water to fill up the bucket. So after the bucket is filled with water, you just cover it and let it sit for about a week. You can use a piece of stick just to mix it in so all of the manure from the bottom comes up and the charcoal is mixed all throughout the bucket. You just cover that and allow it to sit for about a week or so. And then after about a week, this is how it's supposed to be looking. So this is it. It's really dark. This is dark gold. This is how it's supposed to be looking and ready to be used. Now let's get into how the charcoal actually benefit your soil and in the long term benefit your vegetables, plants, fruit trees, flowers, anything that you plant in the soil. Let's get into exactly how it works so you understand why it's very, very useful. And it's almost as if it is better than the fertilizer itself. Look at this. I fertilize this once since it starts putting on blossoms. I need to come out and harvest. Ah, that's just beautiful. One of the biggest challenges we as container gardeners face is the constant watering. We have to water the garden almost every day, especially if you're in the warmer climate like I am. I am in the tropics. I'm located in Jamaica, and so it is hot. So we have to constantly water the the garden. What that does is, as soon as you fertilize, you water, and the fertilizer just leaches out with the water out of your soil. And so you have to be constantly fertilizing the garden, the vegetables. What the charcoal does is retains the moisture in the soil because it is so porous. It absorbs the moisture and keeps it available to the roots of your plants. So you water less, and even if you water more, the nutrients is absorbed in the charcoal, so it is readily available to the roots of your plants. Now, after 1 week, let me show you what my liquid fertilizer looks like and how you apply it to ensure that your soil is fixed and fixed for a very, very long time. So you don't have to worry about the excess fertilizing. I was telling you that it was the rabbit manure. It is the rabbit manure, but it is how it is retained in the containers why the garden always looks this lush. So after a week, this is what your liquid fertilizer combined with the charcoal looks like. Ah, that's just filled with goodness. All right, let's show you now how we apply it and how often, if often at all. This pepper tree is absolutely loaded, and this has been fertilized once. So what you do, you just pour it onto your soil, and as you water, the water will take the charcoal and the fertilizer throughout the soil. And what this does, it the charcoal, the particles, they provide a surface for the beneficial microbes to kind of colonize on the charcoal around the roots of your plant, and that way it is always retained. The nutrients that is in the fertilizer, it's already attached to the charcoal particles, and then the charcoal just keeps it in your soil and around the roots of your plants. And as those microbes in the soil work with your living soil, you should have that um, ecosystem in the soil going. As the worm deposit their castings and all of that, it colonizes onto the charcoal particles and keeps it around the root of the soil. I have been doing this, guys, and as I said, I had no idea it was so significant. I just did it. Myself and my husband, we went to a coal kiln. I'm sorry we didn't videotape it. And we just collected the black soil that was burnt with the charcoal, and we put it in all of the containers, not knowing that the charcoal was what was retaining the, because I always say I don't know what I put in my soil. You know, you just do it unconsciously, not realizing that the charcoal is what is actually retaining the moisture and the nutrients around the roots of my plants in the containers. It's just amazing, and I had to share it with you. And if it is that you know of persons who are gardening, struggling with their garden, please share the video so others will be um, aware of this. A lot of us, we do jerk bonfire, we do, and we have the charcoal. Utilize it in your soil, guys. It's amazing, the literal miracle that this works. Depending on the charcoal that you're using as well, it can slightly adjust the pH in your soil. As you know, proper regulated pH in your soil is critical to growing vegetables and growing them successfully. If it is too alkaline, it is a problem. If it is too acidic, some plants don't like too much acid in their plants. And you know, we use a lot of fertilizer. It can be highly acidic. So depending on the charcoal, it can slightly adjust the pH in your soil. And so you'll just see your plants start producing and performing better than they used to. So I'm encouraging you to give it a shot. These strawberries are just picking up and doing so well. And you also ask, what do I use to fertilize the strawberries? It's the compost tea that I pour on them because I am scared to put anything else and damage them. And so it's the same thing. And I am assuming that it's the charcoal that is doing the magic in there. Also, as I made mention of types of charcoal just now, there are different types. You have charcoal for fireplace and so on. Ensure that the charcoal you're using is horticultural grade. Ensure that it can be used in your garden. What I use is the burnt sticks and so on. So if you know it's burnt wood, that is perfectly fine to use in the garden. I don't think it matter which wood, as long as it's not treated. But they're charcoal, you know, they're artificial charcoal. Don't use those. Use the ones that are garden friendly. This tomato also, and the cabbages here. The cabbages earlier I gave them some rabbit manure, but the tomato I've only fed the compost tea, the banana tea. The the tea I made a while ago has more nutrients because all sorts of vegetables are in there. But for this one, I used only the banana tea, the charcoal in the soil. Banana leg tomato blushing, guys. Pretty soon we'll be able to test that one together. Of course, I will taste it and let you know, because some of you have been asking me, how does it taste, if it's sweet? I don't know yet because I'm growing it for the first time. So I'll definitely um share that with you when I harvest that first tomato. Before I leave you this morning, let me just recap a little on the key notes. The first one is the charcoal itself. It's not fertilizer, but it aids the fertilizer in doing its job in the containers, the soil, in repairing your soil. So by adding your charcoal to your soil, and you can either crush it, apply it directly to the soil, whether it be pot or in the ground. You directly add it and just incorporate it. And instead of using perlite, you could use your charcoal to aerate your soil. So it is just, it's a perfect marriage with your soil, guys. Also, um you can add it at the bottom of your containers, just like you would add gravel or sand. You could add charcoal instead. The sand and the gravel, it does not have that surface area. It's not porous enough. Some rocks are, but the charcoal is more porous, so it absorbs the nutrients easier and provide that surface for all of those microbes to just colonize and to just stick close to the roots of your vegetables. So you can put it at the base of your containers, and then you put your soil on top of that. So when you fertilize or you water, the moisture is absorbed at the bottom of your containers. All right. You can crush and add to your compost tea like I demonstrated earlier, or you can just crush, add water, and add it to your soil at any point. The thing is, it is not acidic, it is not alkaline, so it does not matter how much you add to your container, depending on how demanding, because some vegetables are heavy feeders, like my tomatoes, then you know you need more moisture in that soil, so you add a little less of that charcoal. And then for like dragon fruit, you can literally plant it in the charcoal and it will survive. So depending on how you watch and study your vegetables that you grow, you add the charcoal accordingly. All right. And last most but not least, by no means least, it is not fertilizer. It just aids in that surface area for the fertilizer to be retained in your soil for longer periods. Sometimes it doesn't leave at all. It just depends on how much feed or food the plant take from the soil, and then so you know you need to fertilize at intervals. But in essence, your fertilizer will stay in your container for way longer and provide that nutrients that your plant need to produce food. And that's why we plant. We don't plant for pretty looks or for what do you call that, extracurricular activity. We plant because we want food, unless it is flowers, of course. Plant to make my garden beautiful, but also to make my plate even more beautiful. I want to thank you for joining me today. I appreciate your support so much. Now I'm not sure if it is the basil or the scallion that is close to the tomatoes why there aren't any pests. Knock on wood, I really don't want any pest attack, but it's just doing fantastic right here. Or maybe it's just the variety of tomatoes, and if that's the case, I'm saving seeds. All right, guys, I leave the garden for today. Well, you're leaving the garden for today. I'm going to water now. Take care. Thank you so much for subscribing. I don't know, it's too early. My brain tired. Thank you so much for subscribing, for liking, and for leaving your comments. And I appreciate you so much for sharing the videos. Thank you, guys. To my members, thank you so much for your support. The Farming on the Rocks, we really do appreciate you. All right, guys, take care for now.